We'll get started today. Let's start seated. Easy cross-legged seat. So as you come into your seat, notice which leg wants to come in front first. That's just naturally the way that you want to sit, which is fine. You will be switching at some point, but we're going to do something in between, which is why I'm calling it out now. Put the hands on the knees, sit up nice and tall, close the eyes, and see if you can root down into the sit bones, lift the rib cage up, point the nose forward and down a little bit. So you're sitting up nice and tall. Then as you hug the belly in, you'll feel that support for the lower back. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Slowly out through the mouth. Big breath in, fill all the way up. Exhale, release. Another breath in. Out the mouth, let it go. And then this time, breathe in through the nose. Hold it at the very top. And slowly out through the nose. Keep the lips sealed. Stay with this breath. Keep going on your own. In and out through the nose. Feeling the breath go up and down the back of the throat. You'll blink open the eyes. Keep hanging onto the knees. Round the spine. And then on your inhale, come back up to a nice tall spine. And you'll keep going. So it's just like cat-cow. Round the spine on the exhale. Inhale to lengthen. Keep going at your own pace. Last one. You'll come back to a tall seat. Use the hands to bring the knees back together. Make sure you're more toward the center of your mat or maybe toward the front of it. Hug the knees in. Maybe you come up onto the toes. See if you can still sit up tall. Hug the belly in. Maybe you float the toes away from the mat a little bit. You have to find a little bit of balance. Everything squeezes in toward the midline. Stay with your breath. And then keep this connection of the body, everything curled up in a ball. You can hang onto the knees and you'll start to roll back. Keep the knees together. The feet will go apart. Interlace the fingers back behind the head. So knees are touching, feet are as wide as you can get them, which isn't going to be that wide. And then on the inhale, set the head down onto the mat. Leave the legs the way they are. Hug the belly in. On the exhale, lift up. So shoulder blades lift away from the mat. Inhale back. We're just doing crunches with the feet wide, knees together. Come back up on the exhale. Inhale back, head's heavy. Let it relax. Don't use the neck. Bring it back up on the exhale. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up, stay up, bring the feet back together, extend the legs straight up. So you have this L shape with the body. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up, stay up, interlace the fingers, point toward the sky. Now point outside of the right hip. Left leg lowers to hover down in front of the mat. Leave the left leg where it is, just lower the right leg. Lift the shoulders up higher and bring the right leg back up. Keep moving the right leg nice and slow so you're not swinging it back and forth. You'll start to feel the core talk to you as you go back and forth with this slow movement of the right leg. This should be around the 4th rep. And we're doing one more. Bring that right leg back up. Bring the left leg up. Point up towards center. Now outside of the left hip. Lower the right leg to hover. Press out through both heels. Lift the chest. Hug the belly in. Lower the left leg. Bring it back up. Back down again with control. Back up. Slowly back down. Bring it back down again. Last one. Left leg comes back up, right leg comes back up. Hug the knees in toward the chest. You can rest the head. You can rock side to side with the hips a little bit. Grab onto the backs of the legs. Roll back up to seated. Easy cross-legged seat. Other leg in front. My left leg wanted to go right there. So as you sit up nice and tall, bring the hands to the knees. Come back to this space where it's just quiet. You feel that little bit of heat in the belly. See if that helps you sit up a little bit taller. Take an inhale, sitting up with a little bit more length, and on the exhale, around the spine. Same thing we did before. Inhale up, exhale around. Inhale up, exhale around. Last one. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale around. Come back up to center. Make your way to hands and knees, coming into tabletop. Walk the knees back a little bit. Keep the shoulders stacked over the wrists. So it's like push up on the knees. And then from here, we will come into a push up on the knees. I just want you to focus on bringing the elbows straight back so they're not winging out to the sides. They're going straight back. So you should feel the inside edges of the arms touching the sides of the torso. And then you'll come back up to the top. Lift the lower belly like it's going up through the gateway of the heart, and then lower on the exhale. Inhale back up. Exhale, lower. Stay here, tuck the toes, chaturanga, lift the knees, push back up to plank pose. So top of a push-up plank, keep reaching the heart forward, hug the belly in, point the tailbone back toward the heels, and then scan the body. So as you spread the fingers and you press down evenly into the hands, spin the biceps forward, feel that rotation in the arms. Get longer in the waist, longer in the legs. Downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back. So feet and hands stay right where they are. You can widen the feet if you wanted to. Nod the head yes a few times. No a few times. Then as you move the head side to side, feel the ears touch the insides of the arms. That's right about where the head should be. Then on your next inhale, glide forward to plank pose. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale back, downward facing dog. This time, inhale forward to plank pose. Hover the right toes away from the mat, not real high, just enough so they're not touching. Bring the knee to the nose, scoop the belly, round the spine, step the right foot forward, up between the hands. You're in a runner's lunge. So you start to lengthen from the lower belly all the way up through the chest, taking the rounding out of the upper back. Then set the back knee down, untuck the toes, shift the hips back, coming into half splits. You can walk the hands back, you can use blocks. Just take it easy on this first one, getting a little bit more length in the back side of the right leg. Come back onto the sole of the right foot, tuck the back toes, extend the back leg, step the left foot forward to meet the right foot. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Bring the hands together and down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back, right foot still in front. Come back to your runner's lunge. Plant the hands down to the mat, step back to plank pose. Once you get to plank pose, feet hip width distance apart, shoulders stacked over the wrists, hover the left toes away from the mat. Knee to nose. Step the left foot up between the hands. Find your runner's lunge with the left foot forward. Right knee comes down to the mat. Untuck the toes. Shift the hips back so you can lift the toes on the left foot. Start to push the heel forward a little bit. Half splits. Walk the hands back. Stay on the fingertips. Use blocks. Give yourself a little bit more space for the first couple of these. Back onto the sole of the left foot. Tuck the back toes, extend the back legs, step forward, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Bring the hands together overhead and down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, step the right foot back. Find that runner's lunge. Plant the hands, step back to plank pose. One forearm at a time, forearm plank. So same thing we did before in our plank. Find the same engagement in the body with your forearm plank. So press down into the forearms and the hands. Keep widening across the chest as you reach the heart forward. Stretch the heels so that they're right over the balls of the feet. Engage the thighs. Lengthen the tailbone. Hug the belly in. Breathe. Slowly start to set the hips down onto the mat. Tops of the feet come to the mat. Keep the chest lifted for Sphinx pose. And walk the hands. So you come onto the fingertips and they're right by the lower ribs, just as if you were going to do cobra, but just imagine don't imagine, bring your fingertips to the mat. Hug those outer elbows in, press into the tops of the feet, and then lift and spread the chest open. So cobra, but fingertips are on the mat. You might get a little bit more lift, but don't push too hard into the mat. Use the body for the back bend, hugging the belly in. Then exhale, release. Bring the hands down, tuck the toes, bring it back up to plank pose, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, start to walk the feet forward, up between the hands. Forward fold at the top of the mat. Keep the feet hip width, clasp opposite elbows. Maybe you sway side to side, but whatever you do, let the head and the neck go. Switch the clasp, other forearm in front. Hands down, inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhale up, hands can come up the sides of the legs, giving yourself a little bit more space. Then exhale, fold back down. Inhale up, halfway. Exhale, fold. This time we're coming all the way up. Inhale, spread the arms out wide, reach up, palms together overhead and down in front of the heart. Surya A. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank pose. Slowly lower yourself all the way down. Maybe double the time it normally takes you to get down to lying down on your stomach. Tops of the feet come down. Cobra, hands back by the lower ribs, hug the belly in, reach the heart forward, elbows point straight back. And you can come up a little bit higher if you feel like there's the space. Then exhale, release, tuck the toes, fire up the legs and the belly, push the mat away from you for plank, back to downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, step, walk, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Bring the hands together overhead and down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down. Step back to plank pose. Lower down halfway, chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. You decide. Back to downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, step, hop, bring the feet up. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Hands come together overhead and down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Nice, strong, rooted legs. Fold over. Bring the head down, hands down. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down, back to plank pose. Lower down halfway, chaturanga, cobra or up dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Few breaths in your downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up and back. Make sure to not open up the right hip. So you'll press out through the right heel, lift it up as high as you can. Keep that left heel going down toward the mat. Push the mat away from you with the arms. Try not to open the right side of the chest. Step the right foot forward, up between the hands. Runner's lunge, feet hip width distance apart. Once you have it, hover over the right thigh, reach the arms back behind you. Take a look where that right knee is. See if you can get it right stacked over the right ankle. So it's not ahead of it, trying not to be behind it. Although if you need that, take it. Make sure you can breathe. Make sure the left leg is working. And the hips are even. Really lightly, bring the left fingertips down to the mat underneath the left shoulder. Right arm reaches up for a twist. Try not to dip that left hip. Open the chest. Right hand comes down to the mat. Straighten the right leg. So stay high on the ball of the back foot, fold over the right leg. Then bend the right leg, come back into your runner's lunge. Take your time, crescent pose. Reach the arms forward and all the way up. Square the hips forward. Keep that lunge in the front leg. Hug the belly in. Widen across the shoulder blades. That might mean kicking the thumbs out a little bit to give yourself some more space. Hands slowly come down to the mat. Step back to plank pose, down dog or vinyasa, any version, modify if you need to. I'm doing cobra today. Back to downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up and back. Try not to open up the hip. A good way to think about that is the inner thighs. So that left inner thigh is lengthening. It's helping you push the left foot away from you. Left foot steps up between the hands. Find that runner's lunge. Once you're ready, reach the arms back behind you. Hover low over that front thigh without touching it. Build some heat in the legs. Slowly, right fingertips come down underneath the right shoulder. Left arm reaches up for a twist. Keep stretching that right leg back behind you. Try not to let the hips go lopsided. Keep them level. Left hand comes down to the mat. Straighten the front leg, fold over the front leg. Lunge forward, bend that left leg, crescent pose. Go slow, reach the arms forward and all the way up. Hands slowly come back down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Any way you want, back to downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sit back, come into chair pose, Utkatasana. Hug the belly in, sit the hips a little lower and lift the chest a little higher. Rise up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, back to chair pose, sit back, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank pose. Move through a vinyasa, modify it, down dog, up to you. Right leg reaches up and back. Knee to nose. Step the right foot forward, up between the hands. Reach the arms back behind you, hover the chest low. Left hand down, right arm up for that twist. Right hand comes down to the mat. Walk the hands over to the left. Turn the toes to face the left side of the mat. Feet are wide. It's a wide-legged down dog. So walk the hands forward just like you would in downward facing dog. Keep the feet wide. Let the head come down between the arms. Same thing before. Ears should be, if you moved your head side to side, you should feel the ears on the insides of the arms. Keep the legs engaged. So in fact, relax the legs for a moment. Feel that. Now lift the muscles in the legs. You'll even feel the outer hips turn on. You'll feel the belly start to hug in, Maybe you'll get a little bit more length in the spine. Walk the hands in underneath the shoulders, bend the knees a little bit, hands to the waist, come up to standing. Turn those right toes out, warrior two. Flip the front palm up, reverse warrior. Keep sending that right knee forward as you reach up and back. Left hand so light. Extended side angle. Right hand outside of the right foot, maybe forearm to thigh, reach the left arm up and over. Left hand down to the mat, right hand two if it's not already there. You're back in your lunge. Step back to plank pose, maybe a vinyasa. Back to down dog. Left leg reaches up and back. Hug the belly in, knee to nose. So you're rounding the spine. Then step the left foot forward up between the hands. Feet hip width, reach the arms back behind you. Hover low over that front thigh. Right hand down, left arm up. Find that twist without using the hips. Left hand comes down to the mat. Straighten the front leg, fold over the front leg. Find that lunge, walk the hands over to the right. All 10 toes face the side of the mat. Wide-legged down dog. Walk the hands forward. Relax the legs, then engage them. Walk the hands in so they're underneath the shoulders. Bend the knees a little bit. Float the hands to the waist. Press yourself up to standing. Turn the left toes out. Right toes angle in a little bit. Warrior two. Flip the front palm, reverse. Extended side angle, hand outside the foot, forearm to thigh. Reach the right arm up and over. Right hand down to the mat, come onto the ball of the back foot, step back to plank pose, make your way back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, feet forward, step, hop, feet up between the hands, inhale up halfway, exhale, fold over the legs, bend the knees, reach the arms up, chair pose. Press up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. We're coming back into chair pose, but imagine an actual chair sitting right behind you, and you want to hover on the inhale so that you almost touch the seat. You're hovering just above it. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down. Step it back to plank. You decide how you want to get to downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up and back. Knee to nose. Step the right foot forward. Runner's lunge. Reach the arms back behind you. Keep the chest nice and low. Chest is wide. Left hand down, right arm up. Bring the right hand down to the mat. Hop the back foot in so you can seal the whole heel down. Left toes point out a little bit toward 11 o'clock. Straighten the front leg. Come up halfway. Fold over the legs. Parsvottanasana, pyramid. Come back up to halfway. Fingertips are still down on the mat in front of you. Scissor the inner thighs. Bring the hands to the waist. Come all the way up to standing. Leave the legs where they are. Let's open up the shoulders a little bit more. So you can do reverse. You can bring the fists behind the back, which is giving you the most space. You could clasp opposite elbows, or you could take the hands in reverse prayer, which is definitely requiring the most shoulder mobility. Stand up tall, press down into the legs, hug the belly and lift and spread the chest just halfway or maybe less. So notice how there isn't any rounding in the lower back. Once you start to feel the lower back round, you've gone too far, come up a little bit. And then we'll just stay here and hold and breathe. So the legs are nice and strong, shoulders are opening. Back of the neck is long wherever you are. Press into the feet, come back up to standing. Leave the hands and the arms the way that you have them. Hands to the waist. Step the left foot forward to meet the right foot. Inhale, chair pose. Bend the knees, sit back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Step the left foot back. Spin the left heel down flat. Warrior two, take your time. Flip the front palm up, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, keep reaching up and back. Reverse triangle. Come up to standing, arms out wide, setting yourself up for triangle. Feel free to heel toe the back foot in a hair or two if you want to shorten the stance. Reach forward, hips shift back, keep the legs nice, long, strong. Reach the left arm up. You can keep that left arm reaching up, or you can bend the elbow, bring the hand behind the head to add a little bit more of a shoulder opening. It's up to you. Left arm reaches up. If you took that option, warrior two. Bend the front leg, look over the right hand. Windmill the hands down to the mat. Vinyasa, back to downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up and back. Knee to nose. Step the left foot up between the hands. Runner's lunge. When you feel ready, reach the arms back behind you. Hover the chest low. Right hand floats down to the mat underneath the shoulder. Left arm reaches up. Find that twist. Left hand comes down to the mat. Hop the back foot in so the whole sole of the foot is down on the mat. Straighten the front leg. Right toes point out a little bit. Square the hips forward. Come up halfway, then fold over the leg. And just like we did on our wide-legged down dog, your legs could be relaxed, but let's try not to do that. Square the hips, which probably means bringing the left hip back and the right hip forward a little bit. Come up halfway. Fire up the legs, the core, float the hands to the waist, press yourself up to standing with those nice strong legs. Same thing we did before, either reverse fists, clasp opposite elbows the other way, or reverse prayer. You could take a different option if you want to, especially if you did something that was symmetrical on the first side. And start to fold forward, leading with the heart. Try not to round the lower back. Don't go lower than halfway. Take your time getting there, seeing where it is on this side of the body. Back of the neck is long. Once you get there, keep opening up the shoulders so the chest is nice and wide, shoulder blades are wide across the back. Start to press back up to standing. Body stays the same. You're just coming back up to standing. Once the head is over the hips, bring the hands to the waist, step the right foot forward. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Bend the knees, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, right foot steps back, spin the right heel down flat, warrior two. Flip the front palm, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg. Keep everything else the same. Focus on that left hip. You want to feel like it's coming away from the thigh. Press into the feet, come up to standing. Maybe you heel toe the back foot in a little bit. Triangle pose, Triconasana. Spread the arms out wide. Keep the legs nice and strong. Hug the core in. If you took it on the first side, you can bend the elbow, reach for the back of the head. See if that helps you open up the chest and the shoulder. Right arm reaches up if you took that option. Warrior two. Bend the front leg. Arms are nice and wide. Windmill the hands down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Lower down halfway. Back bend of your choice. Downward facing dog. Little different this time. We'll play with that same flow. Right leg lifts up and back. Knee to nose. Right foot steps up between the hands. Feet hip width. Reach the arms back behind you. Hover the chest low. Keep it nice and open. Arms are firm, like you're holding a beach ball between the hands. Left hand comes down. Right arm reaches up for that twist. Be mindful of the left hip. Keep stretching that left heel back behind you. Nice, strong legs. Right hand comes down to the mat. Hop the back foot in. Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. Square the hips, come up halfway. Now fold over the legs. Inhale up halfway. Fire up the legs, bring the hands to the waist, come all the way up to standing. Skipping the shoulder opening this round. Step the left foot forward, bend the knees, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up, halfway. Exhale, fold, left foot steps back, spin the left heel down flat, warrior two. Flip the front palm up, reverse warrior. Extended side angle, either right hand outside the foot on a block or forearm to thigh. Reach the left arm up and over. Get as long as you can in the left side of the body. Open the chest up toward the sky. Here's where we lengthen. Root down through that left outer edge of the left foot. Bring the left hand down to the mat. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Hop the back foot in like warrior one. Come up for warrior one. Reach the arms forward and up. So only warrior one. Square the hips, square the chest. Keep that lunge in the front leg. Bring the hands together and down in front of the heart. Start to lean forward halfway. Keep that left heel sealed. If you can, twist the chest open to the right. So open the chest to the right, you can hook the elbow. Now this might be a lot. That left heel can come up and you can do a twisted lunge. If you can keep the warrior one legs, and it's not too much of a struggle, but it's a good challenge, stay here. Make sure you're breathing. Get as long as you can. One more inhale. On the exhale, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose. Vinyasa if you want. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Take a deeper breath in your downward facing dog. Exhale out of the mouth. Left leg goes up and back. Knee to nose. Step the left foot through, up between the hands. Feet hip width, reach the arms back behind you, hover the chest low. Right hand floats down underneath the shoulder, left arm reaches up. Find that twist. Left hand to the mat. Hop the back foot in so the whole sole of the right foot is down. Turn those toes out a little bit toward 1 o'clock. Straighten the front legs, square the hips, come up halfway. Fold over the legs. Parshvottanasana, pyramid pose. Make sure the legs are working and they're not relaxed. Then come up halfway, press down into the feet and the legs, bring the hands to the waist, rise up to standing nice and slow. Step the right foot forward to meet the left foot. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Bend the knees, reach the arms up, hug the belly in, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, right foot steps back, spin the right heel down flat for warrior two. Take your time. Flip the front palm, reverse warrior. Parshvottanasana. So left hand down outside the foot, maybe forearm to thigh, reach the right arm up and over. So you know where we're headed. We're trying to get this right side of the body long so we have the length for the twist, the ultimate twist that we're going for. Root down through the right leg. Keep reaching with those right fingertips as you open the chest up. Left hip has control. It's not swinging out to the left. Right hand comes down to the mat, come onto the ball of the back foot. Hop the back foot in like warrior one feet. Come up for warrior one. Reach the arms forward and up. Front leg is bent. Right leg is so strong as you spin that inner right thigh back behind you. Bring the hands together, down in front of the heart. Start to lean forward halfway. Open the chest to the left. Maybe you hook the elbow. Maybe you bring that right heel up if you need more space. If the heel's down, press down through both feet, get longer on the inhale, twist on the exhale. Really nice. One more breath in. Exhale brings the hands back down to the mat. Last vinyasa if you want it. Back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, come to hands and knees. So bring the knees down to the mat. I'd recommend doubling up the mat, just walking the front of the mat back halfway. Even if you don't have knee issues, it still feels good to have a little extra padding underneath your knees, but you're dealing with the floor that you have underneath you. Tuck the toes, bring the hands up to the waist. So you're standing on the knees. Knees are hip width distance apart, so they're not touching, they're not all the way together. Bring the hands to the lower back, either fingertips pointing down. Unless you want a good stretch for the wrists and the forearms, you could do fingertips pointing up. Elbows point back like we've been doing. Root down through the legs, lift and spread the chest up toward the sky. So Ustrasana camel, but we're keeping the hands supported on the lower back for this first round. Legs are strong. Slowly start to bring yourself back up. Sit back onto the heels, bring the hands down in front of you, rest. And you'll feel the heartbeat a little stronger. Back bends do that, they bring more energy into the body. All right, let's do another round. Separate the knees if you brought them all together, all the way together. Tuck the toes, walk the hands up to the waist. Decide which hand variation you like with the fingertips pointing down or fingertips pointing up. I'll talk you through what we did the first round, and you can take it into something deeper if you feel open enough for that. So imagine you have a block between the thighs. Squeeze the thighs together, lift the navel away from the hips, start to stretch the chest up and back, point the elbows back. Stay here if you feel like it's not that far away. Maybe you walk the hands to the heels and find more of a lift, trying to keep the hips over the knees. Lengthen the lower back wherever you are. And then notice the length of the neck. So you can either look up or you can look forward. If you look forward, there's plenty of length. If you start to look up, just stop if you start taking away the length. Legs nice and strong, hands come back to the waist if they weren't already there. Sit back onto the heels. You can untuck the toes. Rest here, taking that in. One last round. Blink open the eyes if they're closed. Come back up onto the knees. Separate them hip width. You could leave the feet untucked if this is feeling really good and you feel open. If you feel like you were at your max with the toes tucked, stay that way. Hands to the lower back. Find that engagement in the legs. Lift the lower belly. Lift the rib cage. Keep pointing the elbows back. Come into your camel, any version that feels good right now. Breathe wherever you are. Slowly come back up. Hands come to the waist. Untuck the toes. Bring the hands down in front of you. Unroll the mat if it's rolled. Let's do a couple rounds of cat-cow. So on the inhale, bring the heart forward. On the exhale, round the spine. Couple more times. Inhale forward. Exhale round. Nice and gentle. Inhale forward. Exhale round. Downward facing dog. It should feel pretty good. Walk the hands forward, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. So now you'll start to feel that space in the spine. And imagine someone's pushing your hips up and back as you keep your hands rooted onto the floor. Heels are going down a little bit lower. Everything is long. You're hugging those lowest front ribs in. So it's not about trying to get the chest down to the mat. Good. Bring the knees back down to the mat. Sit onto one hip. Extend the legs out in front of you. Coming to seated. Walk that right foot way in. Right hand comes back behind you. Sit up nice and tall. Keep those left toes pointing straight up. Wrap the left arm around the bent leg and open the chest for your twist. We've been playing with twists. So if you feel like you want to hook the elbow, you're welcome to do that. Another option, if you're grabbing the bent right leg, is to interlace the fingers. And that always feels kind of nice because you can pull the elbows apart, sit up nice and tall, and root down into both sit bones at the same time. You'll gently release, turn the chest to face forward, step the right foot outside of the left leg, grab that left ankle, just bring it over to the side. So you're stacking the right knee on top of the left knee. Reach the arms up, fold over the legs. Bring the hands back in. Extend the right leg next to the left leg. Let's walk this left foot in. Sitting up onto both sit bones, left hand comes right behind you. Wrap the right arm around the bent leg. Stay here as you press down evenly into both sit bones. Maybe you hook the elbow if that's the choice you took on the first side. Or maybe you keep that right arm wrapped, you interlace the fingers, pull them apart so that you can lift and spread the chest open in your twist. That right foot is pushing away from you with the toes pointing up. Bring the gaze forward, slowly unwind the chest, step the left foot outside of the right knee, grab that outer edge of the left ankle, move it off to the side, stack the left knee on top of the right knee, reach the arms up, fold over the legs, any amount. You don't have to go that far, especially if you feel it right away. Start to walk the hands back in. Extend the left leg out next to the right leg. Get even on the sit bones. Let's take a Baddha Kanasana. Soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Sit up nice and tall as you hang onto the inner edges of the feet. Start to lean forward with the heart. Maybe the elbows come out wide. Close the eyes, folding in. Come back up to center. Use the hands to bring the knees back together. Let's take a wide-legged straddle as our last hip opening. So you can open up the legs wide. If the heels are uncomfortable, turn yourself so that the heels are on the side or on the mat. Then once you sit up nice and tall with the legs wide, keep the knees and the toes up. Start to walk the hands forward. A block could be nice here if you have one, or even a pillow, whatever. And you just come forward as much as you want to without letting the knees and the toes cave in. Maybe the forearms come down. Some of you might be able to go all the way down and fold forward. Just don't push it. It should feel like a nice therapeutic opening. On your next inhale, see if you can lengthen the chest a little bit more and fold back in. Walk the hands in underneath you, coming back to seated. Use the hands to bend the legs, sliding the feet back in, facing forward on your mat. You can either come into Shavasana, grabbing any props that you need. You can come to an easy cross-legged seat and take a seated meditation for a few minutes. See which one's calling to you. Get yourself set up so that you're comfortable. Close the eyes. And begin to drop in. Here's your practice. How fast can you get into it? Finding that peace. Start to use the breath to come back into your body, back into your space. Finding a stretch if you're lying down on your back. Finding a little bit more length if you're seated. If you're on your back, roll over to your side. Gently bringing yourself back up to an easy cross-legged seat where we'll all meet. Bring the hands together in front of you. Keeping the lift of the chest, bow the head to honor and acknowledge your heart and spirit, as well as everyone around you. Bring the head back up, blink open the eyes. Namaste.